ऐसा कोई सगा नहीं जिसको नीतीश ने ठगा नहीं. Also, कौन बनेगा प्रधानमंत्री? Who told you that we were on the same dinner table? We were not.
Well, it's open election season. It's also a season of alliances. We are less than a year away from election 2024, and what we've seen is coming together of two alliances: the possible resurrection of the NDA, the National Democratic Alliance, and also the formation of India. Rajdeep, what is India?
What is India? You see, first of all, very interestingly, Preeti, I see India written somewhere, INDIA.
Right.
Then I see I.N.D.I.A.
Or
then
hyphenated.
Or hyphenated. I mean, everyone seems to be unclear. How do you use this word India? So it's interesting. If I was a brand.
It's a googly of sorts?
It's a googly. I think it's clever branding. You could argue that it's a master stroke by some, or it's being too clever by half. Because, in politics, my own view is, do you think people elect someone based on the party name or an alliance name, or do they vote for you for your agenda, your leadership? And this is a country where the lotus is the national flower and it's the symbol of the BJP, right? The cow and calf at one time was the symbol of the Congress party. So were you trying to sort of make sure that no one could attack your symbol in any manner?
But Rajdeep, new name, old contradictions.
New name, old contradictions. I think that's absolutely true. Very interestingly, I asked Sitaram Yechuri. There was this report that Sitaram Yechuri was on the same dinner table as Mamta Banerjee. So I said, what did you and Mamta Banerjee chat about? She said, who told you that we were on the same dinner table? We were not. So, it's because I think each of these leaders were very carefully positioned on different tables based on their chemistry. You're having food together in the same room, but beyond the point, you don't want to be seen face to face. I think Mamta and Sitaram Yechuri can be in one room, but I'm not so sure that they have much to chat about as dinner companions.
Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to also talk about a bit of history, because there's it's not organic. India, in terms of the alliance, is not organic. That you agree, Rajdeep? They've come together in terms of with the current political diaspora and how it's shaping up. And possibly they have an elephant in the room in terms of who will lead the alliance, number one. Number two, what happens when you go state by state, region by region. It's playing out in West Bengal. It's going to play out in Delhi, Punjab, possibly Maharashtra also, I feel.
Let's go back in time. Since you're saying, the early 2000s, almost before Preeti was born, was the era of the UPA, the United Progressive Alliance, which was formed, interestingly, after the elections of 2004 as an alliance.
Right.
But before the elections of 2004, Sonia Gandhi took the initiative, much in the manner that Nitish Kumar took the initiative this time, to try and get as many parties together. She actually went over to meet various leaders like likes of Mayawati, the likes of Ramvilas Paswan, succeeded with some, didn't succeed with others, but actually ventured out to try and find allies. And again, interestingly, Jairam Ramesh and Salman Khurshid used to sit in a small house in South Avenue, and they were in charge of sort of plotting the behind the scenes
Dynamics of how
planning of how are you going to craft it. And generally the belief, Preeti, in those months ahead of 2004 was this was a hopeless task. For many of the reasons that you mentioned. Too many contradictions. Will they all come together? Sharad Pawar had left the Congress on Sonia Gandhi's foreign origins, then rejoined and shaped an alliance in Maharashtra. But could you trust Mr. Pawar fully? How would you deal with in Telangana with a KCR who had problems with YS Rajshekhar Reddy? There were lots of issues that sort of also bedeviled an alliance building at that time. Alliance building in India is not easy.
But at that time, Rajdeep, I would think the biggest issue where the Congress was, it was on a high. The Congress was on a, it's very different from what the Congress is today. It could come in as a, not as a junior partner, but the big brother of the alliance.
I think that's a good point. I think the Congress till then was a 100+ party. It had about 100, 120, 140.
53 now.
That's right. Now it's a 53-member MP party. So in those days, the Congress was the dominant party. This time, it is at best first among equals. And that's one big change. Also, I think Sonia Gandhi herself, in a way, made it, although we only realized that after the election, even in her reach out to these allies, didn't try to dominate it. she was very conscious, I think, to her credit at that time, that she needed these parties, craft an alliance. And let's be honest, she was lucky. I'll tell you where the luck came. The DMK was the ally of the BJP till 2004. At the last moment, the BJP decides, forget the DMK, we are going with Jayalalitha. She's going to help us win Tamil Nadu. Willy-nilly, the DMK comes into the lap of the Congress. So you have a situation where the DMK comes on your side, and guess what? The DMK Congress alliance beats the AIDMK BJP alliance. The other lucky part was Andhra Pradesh, where at a time when the Congress was staring at a possible defeat in Andhra, Chandrababu Naidu forced almost Vajpayee to call an early election. Guess what? YSR wins. So I think those couple of states made a huge difference to the overall picture in the country. But
do you have any memories of those leaders then? Because at that time there was no Stalin. We're talking about the DMK. It was Mr. Karunanidhi.
I have memories.
was more.
I have memories of the kind of people who helped stitch the alliance post-poll in particular, the likes of Harkishan Singh Surjit.
No more, but
Harkishan Singh Surjit was the classic alliance builder. CPIM leader at the time, the kind of person who had, very friendly, affable elderly Sikh
demeanor,
gentleman, was threatened no one, had connections particularly widely within the non-Congress, non-BJP parivar. So a lot of the old Janata Party people, the Lalus and all, looked up to him, and because he was seen as the grand old man of Indian politics, he was able to craft this alliance. I think you need someone like that. Someone who's not seen as threatening, someone who has no personal ambitions. The problem at the moment is that a lot of the leaders who are in that space are seen to be also Kaun Banega Pradhan Mantri. Mamta would like to be PM.
Right.
Nitish would like to be a PM. So they all would want.
Arvind would like to be a PM.
Arvind Kejriwal would like to be a
PM. Sharad Pawar, no.
Sharad Pawar, possibly not. But Mr. Pawar could have played that kind of role that Harkishan Singh Surjit used to. So you need a Harkishan Singh Surjit like character.
But Rajiv, tell me something. Why is it that Nitish Kumar, and I've read it from a very senior journalist like you, saying that where Nitish Kumar is concerned, he has someone where conscience is on call. Why is that? Why is he called Paltu Ram?
He's called Paltu Ram because he's been a Paltu Ram. I mean, you just have to look at Nitish Kumar's political career. Someone who's left and joined the BJP twice in the last 8 years. I mean, what's the message that you're sending out? And, there is this saying, Lalu said it. And Lalu and Nitish are now together. And he told me this, Aisa koi saga nahi, jisko Nitish ne thaga nahi. And the world has changed, right? Look.
Is now Lalu hoping that Nitish moves to the center stage and his son takes over as chief minister?
Look, I think when Nitish broke away from the BJP, this was the buzz in Bihar that at some stage Nitish will move to Delhi and Tejasvi will take over. That still hasn't happened. And Nitish has been chief minister now for most of the last 18 years in Bihar. There was a short spell when Maji was. This is his swan song. This is the swan song, by the way, of a lot of the leaders in the alliances. This alliance is of leaders who are, number of them are septuagenarians, a few are octogenarians like Mr. Pawar, Mr. Kharge, who's the dark horse, by the way, in anything that might happen post-poll if this alliance does well.
Possible Prime Minister face, huh? We are only
first
speculating. Dalit face.
First Dalit. I'll tell you this, one of the leaders at that meeting of this India alliance apparently was
mooted
tossing this. Well, then no one mooted anyone's name, but was talking about this over dinner.
Okay, so we were talking about those swan song.
Yeah.
This alliance.
Swan song, I think this is Lalu's swan song. This is Nitish's swan song. This is Mrs. Gandhi, who was in semi-retirement, effectively swan song. Sharad Pawar swan song. Look, that's the big difference also with the UPA. Then, a lot of these leaders were 20 years younger. So they were, when you're in your 50s, like me, you still have a few ambitions, you still have a few ambitions left. When you're in your 70s, you are, it's your last hurrah. You know that after this you've got to hand over the baton to the next generation.
But do politicians usually get that? We've seen Yediyurappa, who was eyeing to be chief minister again, well in his 80s.
Politicians have no Margdarshak Mandal. I was, by the way, a fascinating, we focus a lot on these Delhi-based leaders.
Right.
Only a few days ago, Uman Chandi passed away.
Yeah.
at the age of 79. And I was reading his life story. It's quite amazing. He did not lose a single election from 1970 to 2023. 12 times MLA. 12 elections. 11 or 12 elections. Remarkable.
The most accessible as well, Rajdeep.
And you know, this is something which I've always found. Regional netas, we don't focus enough of them, but they have a mass connect that our Delhi-based netas don't.
Right.
And therefore, our Delhi-based netas tend to be more pompous. You know, they build their careers in TV studios at times. And these local netas build it in the grassroots level. I'll tell you an interesting story I was told. Uman Chandi insisted that every Sunday, wherever he was, he would have to go back to his constituency to spend the day with his constituency. He was a devout Christian. He would go to church and then spend the day with his constituents. That's what he did. And you know what was one of his lifetime regrets as a result? He never saw the Taj in Agra. He said every time I came to Delhi, I had to go back to my
So he never
constituency.
saw it.
He's never seen the Taj.